Hello and welcome to another edition of the Jim Laird Show. I'm your host, Jim Laird, and I'm jumping on here today because my good friend Mike Robertson is going to be releasing his complete core certification system soon. He only does it once or twice a year. I think maybe twice a year or once a year. I'm not sure. But as you know, if you've listened to me, or if you're stumbling across this and you haven't listened to me, I've been in this business since 1997, and I've been everything from a college strength coach to working at different gyms to working as an independent contractor to having my own gym, and now I'm back to working as, I'd say, like a semi-private. I still have my own facility, but it's just me. But I do take on a lot of interns, and over the years I've had staff, and I've mentored different people that have gone on to do some pretty cool things. And one of my favorite things to do is to get coaches going in the right direction. And I think, Pat Davidson and I talked about this. I think this is one of the most confusing times to be a coach because there's so much information out there and there's so much complexity. It was really simple when I started, and I had a great mentor in Brad Arnett at the University of Arizona that got me going in the right direction, and people like Jim Windler. So I was very lucky, but, I ran into Mike and Bill, and, honestly, a big part of my success, especially with longevity, I've got clients that I've been training for almost 20 years, a good number of them, and that doesn't happen if they're getting hurt all the time. I mean, things are going to happen. That's just part of training. But for the most part, people have stayed relatively healthy. If people are always beat up and always run down, they're not going to come back. And then also, teaching people how to take care of themselves outside the gym has been a huge part of what I do. And that's also a big part of this certification. So just as a disclaimer, I bought this certification. I'm kind of coming off a cold, so you're going to have to bear with me. But I bought this certification. It wasn't given to me, or it wasn't like, I actually bought this and I've gone through it. I go through it with my interns. Before this, I would use complete core training because I think that's a great product. It gives people an understanding of circumferential expansion, of, rib cage position, pelvic position, and how that affects the way ability people move. So Mike's products have always been outstanding. I did a product with him called Boot Camp in a Box that him, Molly Galbraith, and I did, and he does an outstanding job. He's extremely well organized. The material he puts out is outstanding. His podcast is amazing, and I just can't say enough good things about Mike and Bill. And a big part of my success, I owe to them and them helping me learn more about how the body moves, and I still continue to learn from them. And that's one of the reasons I go through these courses, is if I can pick up little things to make it better or to teach somebody in a different way that might get to them. So this is the where you come in, and he has an introduction, of course, and he goes through all these different modules. You basically have PowerPoints for every single presentation. There's also questions at the end, and he goes into anatomy, and it's not dead guy anatomy. He goes in, it's like how things work in the system when somebody's alive. There's a huge difference between dead guy anatomy and a complex system known as the human being. Bones and joints, muscles of the core, muscles of the lower extremity, the concepts of posture versus position. Is there good, is there bad posture? I think the big one is asymmetry. Understanding that's one of the hardest things for young coaches to understand when they come in here, is they think everything has to be symmetrical, and it's not going to be. We are not symmetrical beings. Mike does an awesome job of explaining that, and also explaining breathing and how that relates to performance, and how to integrate that into a training session without people being bored out of their brain. And of course, I didn't, I came from an elementary ed background. I jumped right into the weight room. All my learning was in the weight room. So anytime Mike and Bill put out stuff about anatomy, I watch it, about breathing, because that's stuff I need to learn more about. He goes into program design, all the different principles about, training is a stress and you have to prepare people for that stress. And he gives lots of practical examples and easy to follow guides. And once again, he's got a PDF for all this. And here's 6 qualities of a great coach, great coaches. He goes into the actual dealing with people aspect, which is something that's overlooked by a lot of what you'd call, trainers ask me, what's the best certification? A lot of them don't get into the people part of it. They just get into the coaching X's and O's. And honestly, I think you've heard me say this before, if you've listened to me before, if you're good with people, the rest of it will just kind of take care of itself. I mean, you could be a mediocre to moderate coach, and if people like you and if they like being around you and you make them feel good, they're going to work with you. If you're not good with people, that's why I always suggest, hey, work at a restaurant, go work for free at different places so you can work on your people skills and how to talk to people and how to communicate with them, how to figure out how they're doing, how they're feeling, how to get them to initiate habit changes, so that they'll take care of themselves outside the gym, continually checking up on them. How are you today? How are you feeling? What's going on with you? Adjusting workouts according to what's going on in their life. Obviously, if they were sick for 4 or 5 days, you're obviously not going to test all their maxes, if even you need to do that, which rarely. The only people that we do maxes with are my powerlifting girls, and the only time they truly max is at the meet. So, he puts all of that into context. How to run a great training session as far as energy and as far as, giving you tips on how to run sessions, and whether it's semi-private or, private or what your design, your format's going to be. Coaching skills, coaching the exercises. He goes through all the different exercises, how to coach them, how to adapt them for different people, different shapes, different strategies, movement models, exercise progressions. He has a system for how to progress and regress someone, which is so important when you're a new coach. Having a template that you can go to, that doesn't mean you have to be stuck with it, but having something that's a template that you can start with and learn from is perfect. When I started, my template was West Side for Skinny Bastards, and it's still an incredible template, and I still use it, but I put in my exercise selection is much different now, and the exercise I choose for people is much different than it used to be. His R7 approach is awesome, and he goes through this in here, basically, to run it down. I can't move it over, but you can see part of it on the screen there. Release, reset, readiness, reactive, resistance, resiliency, recovery. So release, some sort of quick foam rolling. He explains, the benefits of foam rolling, what it is and what it's not. The resets, he goes through different resets to get people in a better position so they can move more effectively. The readiness is preparing them for the workout. The reactivate is, explosive type stuff. And then the resistance is your strength training. Resiliency is like your GPP, building work capacity depending on the goal. And then, of course, shutting it all down at the end. That is an unbelievable template. And he goes through all of that and gives you examples of that all on video. And then, coaching skills, movement models, exercise progressions. And these are all these different things have a video to them. He has an exercise index library of him coaching, different people. He had a seminar that he did recently in January that I was supposed to go to, but I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go. But that's on here as well, where he goes through live and coaches different people for you, so you can see that. One of the best, here's the complete coach workshop that I'm talking about. And he has a intro. You can't see it all on the screen. I've got some of it blocked out, but coaching hamstring core exercises, coaching pulling, coaching reaching and pressing. Reaching is a big thing. You know, as a power lifter, everything I did was tight, shoulder blades back, and reaching, you know, as I've learned that, you know, you have to be able to move your thorax, especially normal people, even power lifters, they need to incorporate some reaching into their program so they stay healthy. And he goes through coaching all the different lifts, and he has this live video of him doing this hands-on, so you get to see that. So it's an incredible product, and it just keeps going on. How to recruit rapport with your clients, how to build a relationship with them. That's the most important thing. People are going to keep coming back for you, not because of all your fancy gizmos, your fancy training. They're going to come back because they like you, and how to get them to buy in. You know, how to get people that aren't in a good place to feel like they're doing something without beating the hell out of them too. That's a big thing. Some of the coolest things about this, one of the bonuses on here, if I can find it, he's got exercise technique checklist, the craft of coaching. You know, you can download this, and it's a PDF, and it's awesome. You know, this is what people need to be able to demonstrate before they move on to the next thing. Or if they can't demonstrate this, you regress them to that. All done for you. The craft of coaching. This is incredible. This really. Let's see if I can download it here. Is this right? Yeah, here it is. Hopefully I can get most of it on the screen. Yeah, this right here is awesome. It's 58 pages, but it goes through some unbelievable stuff that, you know, you're not going to expect as a new coach. No matter what your client's goals are, there's a reason they've chosen to work with you above all the other options. Okay? And it's because you care, and because, you know, they feel taken care of, they feel safe, they want someone they trust. And, you know, you don't have to have a degree in psychology, but you have to understand how people work, and, you know, look at this, you know, which to fix, and how to use this book to fix it. One pesky client you dread training. You know, how can you deal with this client that bothers you? You're going to have clients that bother you or annoy you. You know, how can you get them to refocus during sessions, clients that are distractive? You know, how to create, you know, compliancy outside the gym, getting clients to buy into, you know, changing their lifestyle, keeping clients happy, you know, putting things in there that they want to do, but also getting them to do what they need to do. So emergency ripcords, how to deal with problem clients or clients that, you know, just are not getting it. And these are all awesome things that you're going to have to deal with as a coach. How to refocus a client during a session. You know, start every session by how you feel today, like I talked about. When they're grumpy or stressed out, you know, how to deal with your own self. Sometimes it's you that's the problem, not the client. Overcoming I can't, you know, and I won't, it hurts. You know, just awesome practical stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff you're going to be dealing with every day as a coach, reinforcing the bright spots, focus on what they can do, what they can't do. You know, hey, you're feeling like crap today, but you made it in. When am I going to see you next? Or I'll see you Tuesday, right? You know, establish habits. And then you want compliant, you know, clients that are compliant in the gym, having clear expectations, setting guidelines, setting rules as far as cleanup. That's something I struggle with. You know, if you're sick, you know, like when clients come in, I tell them, hey, if you're not feeling something, or something hurts, or if you're not feeling it, just let me know. Or, hey, if, you know, some of my athletes, they'll come in the day before a game, they need to let me know that, you know. And then focusing on their goals. I mean, this is just awesome. Communicating clear expectations. We get to the stuff at the end here is the best. And then here's the most important part, I think, is creating compliant clients outside of the gym. Okay? How to get people to change their habits. You know, leading by example. You know, that's a perfect, you know, you got to lead by example. You You have to lead by example. If you're not taking care of yourself, your clients are not probably not going to take care of themselves either. You got to take care of the speck in your own eye before you worry about the 2x4 or the 2x4 in your own eye before you worry about the speck in someone else's. And he goes into all these different things you're going to deal with: kids being sick, people being stressed, people not sleeping, wind stacking, habit change, how to the science of habit change, getting people to make little changes in their nutrition. Simple things like protein every meal, making sure you're drinking lots of water, talking to them about mindset, about sleep. These are the things that are it's much easier to keep a current client than it is to get new clients. And then if you keep a current client and they're happy, they're going to bring you more clients. I've never had to advertise because people keep bringing me people, because I do the best job I can. I'm not perfect by all means, but if people think you're doing a good job and you care and they enjoy the experience, they're going to bring more people to you. You're not going to have to rely on fancy, ads and things like that on the internet. And I think the best part of this, I'm going to skip down here to the end, there's just so much keeping clients happy, just great information. If clients just want to feel like if they want to get beat up, I've got clients that they judge their workout, how sore they are. There's certain things that we can do, the tempo stuff and things like that we can do that's well within their means, that's going to make them feel like they trained, slow the tempo down, focus on technique, without beating them up too much. And then how to be a likable coach. These are all great tips that are going to help you just as much or more than the X's and O's. How to destroy the shiny workout symptom, without wanting to switch programming every day. How to use assessments and reassessments to get client buy-in. This is just awesome stuff. I think the thing that people really don't talk about, that he talks about, emergency ripcords. Here we go. Where he talks about, how to deal with somebody who, are they a problem or are you the problem? Is the way you communicate a problem? Is the way you relate to them a problem? He goes through all these things you need to look at, and then, create your regressions. It's just awesome. But he gets into the what if they're the problem, and here's the thing: if you coach long enough, you're going to have clients that just don't buy into what you're selling. They're going to be energy vampires, and they don't follow through on what you're telling them to do. They don't listen. Sometimes they can be combative, and you just do the best you can to communicate with them. And then eventually, as Mike says here, eventually he talks about having to fire a client and how to fire a client, and what happens if it's they're part of a family, how to deal with all this stuff. This is stuff that people just don't talk about, that's super duper important. So and also he's got a great Facebook group that I'm a part of, that he's on there all the time. So you've got an online community to support you if you have questions. And I know he's going to be adding more content to this and doing more seminars to do with this as well, and increasing the content. Excuse me, I'm going to have to cough here real quick. Thank you. But he's going to be expanding this, and he's only opening this up once or twice a year. And I know after this time, the price is going to be going up. So I think the pre-launch for this is in March. I believe it's March 2nd to the 6th. And if you buy this during the pre-launch on the insider list, you get a significant discount. There is also a payment plan available. And then when the product actually launches on March 7th through 8th, the price goes up, and there's also a payment plan that spreads it out. But really, the price point on the insider is $597. and then the price point on the launch is $797, and then they have payment plans that spread the payments out. But really, if you think about it, when I first started, I was traveling all over the country, going to different seminars. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on travel and on seminars, and you've got 20 years of experience from Mike and Bill wrapped up here in one package that you can go through on your own time. You can print out the PDFs, and I would highly recommend watching and then writing it and then teaching it. That's the best way to learn. But you've got all this experience. You are basically, if you're a new coach, and I've been doing this for 20 something years, and I'd say it takes about 3 years from what I've observed from the people that I've had with me. It takes about 3 years for you to be able to adapt on the fly and to be really comfortable with people, depending on your personality. But this product alone, with the information in here, if you work on your people skills, you should be able to surpass where I'm at, or a lot of different people in the industry, in half the time that it took us. You got to realize the people in this industry that have been successful have been doing this for a very, very long time, and it takes time. This isn't going to turn you into a magical overnight phenom, but it's going to speed the process up, and it's going to start you off in a much better place than I was when I started. And then Mike also has another video on here about how to build your business. And Mike is a good person to mentor under, because not only is he an in-person coach and he has a gym and he has employees, but he also has done something that I have not done and I'm not very good at, is the internet side of things. Mike was writing articles from T Nation. That's when I first got exposed to him way back in the day, him and Cressy. And you can see where they are, with his podcast and with all his online stuff. He's been super consistent with that. Guys like Joe DeFranco. And he also does online training, which is something I don't do. It's not one of my favorite things to do. I'm an in-person coach. So Mike can mentor you in all of these aspects. So there'll be a link down below this video to sign up for the insider list. So when it launches, you can purchase it. And even if you can't purchase it right now for whatever reason, you want to get on that list, because Mike has most unbelievable podcasts. He's got consistent, his YouTube channel is fantastic. If you can't afford to do the course right now, get on the insider list. And, then the next time around, or buy the complete core, that'll give you a lot of good information. Then the next time around, you can get in there, because, this is a product, even for, if you've been a coach for a while, this is a great, relearning tool for me, and gave me some great perspective on some different things. So I would highly recommend getting on the insider list, whether you're going to buy this product or not, and just getting all the great information. I've been on Mike's show. I'll post a link to my show in the description below. But I highly recommend this product, because it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of money. And I know if I was at a gym and a coach applied and said, "Hey, I've done the Mike Robertson complete coach certification," that right there would shoot you to the top of the list. And Mike, Cressy, people like that, most people in this industry now know of them. And if you're applying at a place to work and they don't know who Mike is, that probably wouldn't be a good place to work. But in the beginning, you got to work anywhere you can, regardless of whether it's good or bad or indifferent. You can learn from either or and all of the above. But I'm not a big hard sale guy, but this is something that, if you're a new coach, this is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration and a lot of shiny object syndrome, because it is the most balanced, the most thorough online course that I've ever seen, that's worth every penny. I think it's quite frankly, it's underpriced. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you take action. Make sure you're working on your people skills. Make sure you're going out and volunteering at different places. Find places in your area that are successful and go hang out. Offer to clean. offer to help out and just put in the time. And, if this is what you want to do, it'll all fall into place and you'll figure out, who you need to be working with. And, if you'd have told me when I first started coaching, when I was working with football players, that I'd be, working with women that, have never lifted weights before and they all of a sudden they want to power lift, and I've got a female powerlifting team, I'd have told you were nuts. And I'm sure Cressy would have told you the same thing. He started off as a tennis player and sort of stumbled onto baseball. And, a lot of times you find kind of your calling by accident. Joe DeFranco, you start out in a closet and now you're, a national brand. Pretty cool, training people like Triple H. And Ben Bruno, working for Mike Boyle, and now he's training, all sorts of celebrities, and he's all over the internet. So you never know what can happen. You just got to put in the work and do the best you can with what you got. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.